everyone, welcome back. It is Sunday, not our typical day that we release something, but because of what happened over these past couple days, I think it's fitting that Campo and I come and tell you about it. WWE over the last 48 hours released what the hell was that? Released about 16 to 17 wrestlers, a lot of big names on this list and a lot of not so common names, but some fan favorites. So Campo and I are just going to run through the names and see what the future may hold for them. I think the biggest name on the list would have to be Braun Strowman.
I don't know if it's Braun Strowman. I would argue that it's Shayna
Dakota,
Baszler or Dakota
Dakota Kai.
Kai.
Yeah, but all three of them have been released. So Braun Strowman, I think his career is done. I think he's done.
No, I don't.
No, you think AEW will pick him
Okay,
up?
so do you want to go through this? Like I said, we'll just do a
Yeah.
thing like I
So
was
let's,
saying when we said
like you
it.
said, exactly. Braun Strowman.
I think Braun Strowman has a absolutely monstrous, I don't like him, he sucks, thriving career if he just goes to Japan.
Oh,
You could put him in any Japanese company and he will become a superstar within a couple of weeks.
like what they did with Vader or
Somebody
Prince
kept telling me
Albert,
today, just put him in Noah and add him to Team 2000.
instead of almost a wrestler.
Now you lost almost, so you just put him in. Which great callback, WWE. I'm glad you called him back.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since.
It's literally it's a pure greed, jealousy situation. You saw he was doing well, you couldn't do anything with him. So you're
Yeah,
like,
so
no, you
just
can't have him. I'm taking him back.
I'm taking him back. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, I could see Strowman in Japan. I kind of like that.
He's definitely if AEW signs him, they're psychotic.
Yeah, they probably will just because of
So
the name.
I have a theory going into this that I'll say before
Hmm.
we go through this list because I don't necessarily have a grouping of names. I have maybe one or two, but I think now that they're in a partnership with TNA, a lot of these releases are not our normal type of WWE releases that you would see.
Hmm.
These are kind of like these guys are going to the waiver wire. I hope TNA doesn't claim them. We're gonna steal all your big names, but we'll drop you some names that sell tickets here and there.
Okay, and a couple. Yeah, I could see a lot of these names because
You know what I mean?
they were just on there. So the next name on the list is Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, I could see her going back to Stardom.
I can absolutely see her going back to Stardom, but I promise you, if injuries don't hit, her Stardom run will be very short, just like Kyrie's was, and she'll
Hmm.
end up in AEW or one of or like a major company.
Yeah, were you surprised at this release or
No,
because
because
I was a
we
little?
talked about this. If you
Yeah,
go back to I think two states, we
yeah, two
talked
states.
about Dakota Kai's going to get released.
Yeah,
The Triple H guys, all the Triple H guys that came back.
Braun
I didn't mean to
Strowman.
say it like that because that was really mean. I don't even know why
No,
I said that.
whatever. But
But it's
yeah,
like
even
everyone
Braun
was like,
Strowman
"Oh,
was a
he's bringing back all his people," and now they're all getting released. The
yeah,
last wave and this wave is nothing but Triple H guys.
yeah.
So
It's but he's in a way he's ruthless like that. It's either I brought you back, it's sink or swim, and you didn't swim, so I'm sorry.
I don't
Gotta
even
cut
think it's
weight.
that. I think from what I've been gathering, based on like The Rock and other management people, is Triple H has lost most of his power in the company.
You think this is the Rock's fingers on this?
Yeah, and I think that you might not be too far off of the of Triple H just walking out.
Yeah, I could see that. So next on the list, you mentioned her already, is Shayna Baszler.
I think this is a Tony Khan signing
I
if
think
she
so
goes
too.
back.
This is to offset the Marina Shafir in
Yeah, and I think they need they you already have like WWE's loaded with them like uh little muscular ladies like what's the one
Zoe
the
Stark.
no Ring of Honor, what's the one on Ring of Honor, Layla
She's gone.
Hirsch.
She's gone.
Oh, she's gone, but you
She
had
was
all these.
released. Yeah.
WWE has those two, the one in NXT.
Which with Danny Palmer?
No, well, what's the one that's on that used to be in Chase U?
Oh, Thea Hale.
You had Thea Hale, and then you had the one that went to the main roster that's not doing anything, that always has braids in her hair. The little short girl that's very muscly, looks like Jordan Grace. You also have Jordan Grace.
Hmm.
They have an overabundance
Yeah.
of Ivy Nile. They have
Ivy
an
now, yeah.
overabundance of like
Petite muscular.
of UFC ladies.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'll call them.
Yeah.
But MMA women
Yeah.
and
I
AEW
would even
is
put Zoe Stark in that category too.
Zoe Stark is most likely getting cut. A lot of people are telling me Zoe Stark, and the other name will come to me, but there's two big names that they're saying are gone for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so, anyways, I think AEW needs people like that.
Yeah, especially now, like you said, Layla
But
Hirsch
she
is gone.
does she does have a sneaky working relationship with GCW, and
Hmm.
Shayna Baszler is a big enough name to run the indies and make a lot of money, a la
I could
Matt
that's what
Cardona.
that would have been my next thing would be if AEW doesn't pick her up, it's GCW for sure.
Yeah,
MLW might.
yeah, because I think like she could pull a Matt Cardona and just run the world on the indies
Yeah,
and make a lot of money.
yeah.
She's definitely a big enough name.
So with that, the next names, let's do this as a group because they're a tag team. Caden Carter and Katana Chance, those party girls.
Nobody even makes an
Cares?
offer to them
No.
except for maybe like TNA,
Okay.
just
Yeah, I don't.
to fill out their women's roster because they're very thin right now on people.
Well, this is a name that I could see going to AEW. Next on the list is Cora Jade.
Cora Jade, no, I don't see AEW. I think this
I
is
think
one of
she's
the
I think she's TNA bound.
100%, a hundred
This is
percent.
one of those names you were talking about that I hope TNA doesn't sign them.
But a lot of these releases do. Like even Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, they seem like the type of drop that's like you can
The
you
next two names are definitely going are on
right.
that list. It's
It's like
because
you
Gigi
can
Dolan
be
is next on the list too.
yeah, exactly. Which I do think that Gigi Dolan is a name that Tony Khan would take a chance on. Number one, because she's very like attractive. And I know but that's like a wrestling
Yeah.
thing. And she's actually a very good wrestler.
Yeah.
Maybe because of Darby Allin, she
They may
doesn't
not
want to go
sign.
there.
Yeah.
But I think she's like right up the alley of like a Ring of Honor right now, at
She
least.
just had a tag team championship match against the women's Raw tag team champions and a tag team championship match at Rebellion, which tune in tomorrow. We'll have the review for Rebellion for you tomorrow. But
But she's probably the best part of that match on Rebellion.
yeah, and that's why I think she may be TNA bound,
That's fair. I do think like let's talk
along with the
Corey.
other girl who participated in both those matches, part of Metaphor, Jakara Jackson.
So this is what I'm saying. I think those three are specifically like we're not firing you from WWE. We're letting you go from our contract, but you'll still be associated with us because you'll sign to TNA. Like
Yeah,
I don't even think it's like a drop and release thing where it's like, oh, another company even has a shot. I think there's already contracts in place to sign some of these wrestlers immediately
as
to
soon as their
TNA.
30 day is done. Yeah, I think so. With that, one of my favorite trios, freaking Wolfgang, Joe Coffey, and Mark Coffey, Gallus.
Oh, I hate these guys. We all know that by now.
Yeah,
These guys could go literally anywhere. I say New Japan though. I think that they're gonna get signed to New Japan.
or Noah.
Yeah, one of those two because it's literally a perfect signing of a tag team that already knows what to do with each
Hmm.
other, and you get three cohesive wrestlers that come in as a unit.
Maybe somebody to go against like TMDK.
Right? Exactly.
So, um, with that, Dakota Kai's boyfriend Eddie Thorpe also released.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even count. I'm not counting Andy Thorpe. In my opinion, like, and this not to be disrespectful, like in this situation, he's the bottom of this tier. Like
Yeah,
Jakara Jackson is more,
she's the bottom of the women's tier.
but she's a more well-known wrestler than Eddie
Yeah,
Thorpe is. Eddie
yeah,
Thorpe is the uncle from fucking. I know we did this already. He's not
yes.
really, but Vegas Vacation.
Uh, Riley Osborne, who was a member of Chase U, gone.
I know who it is.
Yeah,
And that's one that a lot of people really like Riley. So
yeah. And
I
another
mean,
member of Metaphor, Oro Mensa,
which that's a weird one because they pushed him really, really hard. Do you remember when he first got there? The push on him was
with the push
mental.
with him and Ethan Page.
Yeah, he had the Heritage Cup for a really long time.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the fact that Javon Evans has just skyrocketed.
The
And
WWE
to be
roster is
fair,
bloated.
he's better in the ring, Javon Evans, than Oro Mensa.
Yeah, for sure. He's the Will Ospreay light.
Yeah. And a couple more names. Javier Bernal, which is he was on Level Up. He hasn't really done
I don't even
much.
know who that is, so I
Yeah.
can't even comment. Maybe Eddie Thorpe. I'm sorry
Danny
for
Palmer,
criticizing you.
another one of those petite, muscular UFC type girls. And last on the list, she was not released, but similar to what happened with Sonya Deville, her contract was not renewed, is Shotzi.
And I think that's a fair one because Shotzi is the doo doo butter of all butter that's doo doo.
Yeah.
But
So basically, that women's trio is the only one that's left is Tatum Paxley.
I'm gonna but this is what somebody told me today again. Like random people just having conversations with it's so weird how the internet works. Like I don't even know you, but we're just gonna have a conversation. Was has been reading like all over the place that the
Hmm.
reason that the firings happened for Shotzi and Gigi Dolan is because they want to push Tatum Paxley, and without getting rid of the other two, it would still they would have to find a way to disassociate her from that group now, and just having them be gone makes it a lot easier to just give her
Right.
a push.
Okay, that makes sense, but still kind of
Like
dumb.
why they don't want to renew those contracts anyways, right? So
Yeah.
to get the push, why have them linger until the end of their contract? Just get rid of them.
Yeah. So that's all the list of releases that we have for you right now. If
I'd
there
also
are
like to say, just to add to
Mhm.
addition, in addition, Indy Hartwell signing to
TNA,
TNA.
great
That's
signing.
that is a great signing because she's underappreciated. I mean, she's not great, but that division needs it. And like I said, maybe Gigi's the odd one out here, but I think Cora Jade, Shotzi, and Jakara Jackson are probably guaranteed going to TNA.
Yeah.
Like almost
Maybe even
guaranteed.
Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I think Dakota Kai's most likely going to go back to her roots and go be
Back to
closer to
Japan.
home because it's right near New Zealand. Like she's right there,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I do think Braun Strowman will also end up there.
Yeah.
Gallus potentially maybe TNA because it's a faction. You have a
Yeah.
full faction right there, but I also think that's a good option for Japan.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's it, guys. Let us know what you think of these releases. Let us know if you think there are any more names coming. Let us know in the comments down below if there's anybody else if there's anybody you would have kept, if there's anybody else you would have released to get rid of. Yeah, like Cody Rhodes or something. I do it to get heat. Cheap heat there, guys. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Campo and I will have our first review of the week. It is TNA's Rebellion, so stay tuned for that. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.